génie, Kylian Mbappé tout le temps de fixer la mise.
"13 goals, 1 assist, and a Real Madrid team that suddenly looks alive again. All because of one man, Kylian Mbappé. But it's not just the numbers, it's the transformation. The calm when he walks up to a penalty spot, the confidence when he sprints at a back line, the authority when the game's slipping and he decides, no, we're not losing today." This season, Mbappé isn't just scoring, he's commanding. He's doing it with that quiet ruthlessness every great forward eventually develops. The moment when talent turns into inevitability. The moment when you stop wondering if he'll score and start asking how many he'll score. And that's exactly where Mbappé is right now. This season, he started like a man on a mission. 13 goals and an assist in barely a handful of games. Those are absurd numbers on their own, but what's more impressive is the timing of them. These aren't third goal in a 5-0 win numbers. These are save us from disaster goals, the kind that separate elite players from legends. Take that Champions League opener against Marseille. Madrid were flat, sluggish, maybe even overconfident. Then Marseille struck first, a slick finish from Wahi after a Greenwood assist. Suddenly, Madrid were staring at another embarrassing start, and that's when Mbappé switched gears. 2 penalties, 28th minute and 81st. Normally, you'd roll your eyes. Okay, 2 penalties. But context matters. Last year, he was missing these moments. 3 penalties saved, confidence shaken, even admitted in an interview that those misses haunted him. This season, ice cold. 4 from 4 so far. He's standing over the ball, waiting for the whistle, and you can see it. That grin, that tiny smirk that says, you already know where this is going. The fans know, the keeper knows. It's psychological warfare, and Mbappe's winning. And the rest of that Marseille game showed something even more valuable than the goals. Control. Every attack Madrid built, every spark of danger, it started with him. Whether he was pressing, linking up, or just drawing defenders out of shape, everything ran through his orbit. Spanish pundits said his intensity reminded them of Dembélé's famous pressing display in the Champions League final last year. That's not a small compliment. That night set the tone. Mbappé wasn't just Madrid's finisher anymore. He was becoming their engine. The confidence carried over immediately. The next week, he dropped a hat trick against Kylian, 1 penalty and 2 open play finishes that felt like a personal highlight reel. Sure, on paper it was a weaker opponent, but what Mbappé showed that night was far bigger than the scoreboard. It was the swagger, the certainty, the speed of thought. Every run looked pre-programmed. Every finish looked inevitable. You could see that this wasn't a player searching for form. This was a player in control of it. The kind of sharpness that makes defenders backpedal before he even receives the ball. And when Madrid faced Real Sociedad a few days later, he doubled down. You could almost script it. A loose touch from a defender, a half second of hesitation, and suddenly he's already gone. Accelerating through the back line like a flash of white lightning, 1 touch to steady, 2 to set up, and a finish that kisses the corner of the net. It was pure Mbappé. Timing, awareness, composure, everything happening in a blur. But the real difference this time wasn't just in how he scored, it was in how he played. Against Sociedad, he wasn't just hunting for goals, he was building them. He added an assist, threading a pass so perfectly weighted it sliced open the defense. That moment summed up this new version of Mbappé. Not just the finisher, but the creator, the connector. The player who sees the whole picture instead of just the shot. And when you watch him closely, you notice the little things too. The calm nod to a teammate after a missed chance. The patience before picking a pass. The small smile when a move doesn't come off, but the idea was right. The frustration that used to flare up after every miscue is gone. He's less reactive, more deliberate. Less isolated, more involved. The chemistry with Vinicius, Bellingham, and Güler looks natural now, fluid, almost effortless. When you put all these performances together, Marseille, Kylian, Sociedad, a pattern emerges. Real Madrid aren't just relying on Mbappé's goals anymore. They're feeding off his presence. Every time he's on the pitch, there's an electricity, a collective confidence that something is about to happen. The team presses higher, the passes come quicker, and even the crowd feels different. That's the power of form at this level. It doesn't just win matches, it changes mindsets. And right now, Mbappe's mindset is rubbing off on everyone around him. To understand how massive this evolution is, you've got to rewind to last season. On paper, his first year at Madrid looked like a dream. 31 goals in La Liga, 42 in all competitions, a European Golden Boot, club record for most goals in a debut season. You'd think it was perfection, but anyone who actually watched those games knows it wasn't. Mbappé was spectacular, individually, but the team, not so much. Madrid finished second in the league, crashed out early in Europe, and went through the entire campaign without a single major trophy. That's not Real Madrid. That's a crisis. And part of the problem was Mbappé himself. He wasn't integrated. He was operating on his own wavelength. Instead of fitting into Madrid's rhythm, he became the rhythm. The team often looked like it was playing around him, not with him. He'd drift centrally, step on Vinicius's zones, and when the ball wasn't at his feet, he'd just stop. The criticism was brutal but fair. He doesn't press. He doesn't track back. He plays for highlights, not for harmony. And while he scored boatloads, he wasn't leading. He was performing. There's a difference. The season ended with Carlo Ancelotti losing his job, and the headlines were all about whether Mbappé could ever truly fit into the Real Madrid way. Even the Club World Cup exposed it. PSG knocked Madrid out, and Mbappé barely touched the game. Meanwhile, a 20-year-old academy striker, Gonzalo Garcia, was the one carrying the attack. That was the turning point. Something had to change, and that's where Xabi Alonso entered. Alonso didn't try to reinvent Mbappé. He didn't try to turn him into a false nine or a winger/playmaker hybrid. Instead, he did something smarter. He refined him. He stripped away the noise and focused on simplicity, movement, discipline, efficiency. Under Alonso, Mbappé's pressing isn't about chasing the ball aimlessly. It's about pressing intelligently. His pressures per 90 haven't skyrocketed, but the quality has. 12.47 pressures per 90 this season, slightly up from 12.41, but his high-intensity pressures are sharper, up from 8.8 to 9.4. That may sound like minor numbers, but the difference is visible. He's not walking aimlessly anymore. He's choosing his moments, cutting off passing lanes, trapping defenders, and when he decides to sprint, it's devastating. You can see Alonso's fingerprints all over it. Structured, disciplined, yet free when it matters. And it's working. Madrid win the ball higher, attack faster, and most importantly, look balanced. Mbappé isn't disrupting their rhythm anymore. He is their rhythm. Then comes the most obvious improvement, finishing. Last year, he went 3 matches without scoring to start the season. The pressure was instant. Pundits questioned if he'd really adapt to Spain's slower tempo or if the move had shaken his confidence. Every miss felt heavier, every touch more scrutinized. This year, 7 games, 9 goals. He's back to being inevitable. There's no hesitation now, just instinct. He's sharper, calmer, and somehow more unpredictable. You can't read his body shape anymore. He'll open up like he's going far post and snap it near the side before the keeper even moves. The penalties? Flawless. The one-on-ones? Automatic. Even the half chances, the ones that used to drift wide, are finding corners. He scored 53 goals in 66 appearances for Madrid, but this season's efficiency feels different. He's not padding stats, he's killing games. When he scores, Madrid win. Simple as that. La Liga's top scorer, leading the league in expected goals, first in shot-creating actions, second in key passes, first in successful dribbles. That's not a finisher's profile. That's the blueprint of a complete attacker. He's evolved from a goal machine into a playmaking predator. Part striker, part creator, part destroyer. And it's not just numbers. You can feel it in how he carries himself. The swagger's back, but it's matured. There's purpose behind every touch, patience behind every move. He's no longer chasing highlight reels, he's chasing control. He's not trying to prove he belongs. He's proving Madrid belongs to him. Even Alonso said it after the Club World Cup. Now you see the player he truly is. What's powering all of this isn't just tactics or training, it's confidence. Mbappé looks free again. Last season, he'd miss a big chance and you'd see it in his face. The frown, the frustration, the disbelief. This season, he shrugs it off, scores the next one. That mental shift has changed everything. The team feeds off it. When he smiles after scoring, even the defenders seem to breathe easier. That's leadership, not the shouting armband kind, but the energy kind, the kind that lifts everyone around you. He's playing with trust. Trust in his teammates, trust in the system, and most importantly, trust in himself. Instead of forcing long shots, he's combining with Vinicius, slipping passes into Bellingham, linking with Güler. Madrid's attack doesn't look like Mbappé and friends anymore. It looks like an orchestra with him as the conductor. He's finally found the balance between individuality and synergy. And that's what makes this version of Mbappé so terrifying. He's not just scoring because he's hot right now. He's scoring because he's been built to. The structure around him amplifies his strengths. Alonso's Madrid finally figured out how to use him. He's not stuck wide anymore. He's operating in that left half space, the zone where he can explode diagonally, combine centrally, or drop deep to pull defenders out. When he moves, the system moves. The shape flexes around him. Vinicius stays wider. Bellingham pushes forward. The midfield covers. It's fluid, it's dangerous, and it's working. The result? A Real Madrid that finally looks like Real Madrid again. Ruthless in transition, confident in possession, and lethal whenever Mbappé's anywhere near the box. Of course, this isn't a perfect team. Defensively, they still wobble. The midfield sometimes feels stretched. Without Mbappé, the attack can stall. But when your star player is in this kind of form, the flaws fade. That's what superstars do. They paper over the cracks while the rest of the system catches up. Right now, Mbappé is Madrid's solution. The goals, the leadership, the moments. Everything runs through him. And if Alonso can keep him this sharp, this disciplined, and this motivated, Madrid are contenders for everything. La Liga, the Champions League, you name it. Because this isn't just another hot streak, it's a statement. Mbappé's not just fitting into Madrid, he's defining it. Every generation of football has that one player who doesn't just win games, but redefines what winning looks like. For this era, that player might be Kylian Mbappé. He's gone from being the flashy prodigy from Monaco to the superstar who carried PSG. And now he's becoming something even bigger, the leader of Real Madrid. And the scariest part? He's only getting started. So the question isn't whether he'll score another 30 this season. It's whether anyone can stop him from turning this Madrid team into his personal legacy. What do you think? Can Mbappé lead Real Madrid to another Champions League crown this year? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the breakdown, make sure you're following for more deep dives into the stories behind football's biggest moments. Because sometimes greatness doesn't just arrive, it evolves.